Kim, you ready? Good evening. Welcome, everybody. This is the special council meeting of December 12th. It's going to be a big event for all our outgoing council members. So let's rise, and I'm going to ask Sandra James to lead us into allegiance. To
pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Dolly Sandoval.
Present.
Councilmember Richard Lowenthal.
Here.
Councilmember Kris Wang.
I'm here.
Councilmember Sandra James.
Here.
Mayor Patrick Kwok.
Here. The next item on the agenda is canvass of votes. Each year, we ask the county to certify the votes, the result of the votes. So I'm going to ask our city clerk, Kim, to give us a report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The item before you tonight is the adoption of resolution number 05206. The City of Cupertino conducted an election on November 8th, and the Registrar of Voters of the County of Santa Clara has conducted the official canvass of the returns of that election in accordance with the provisions of the California Elections Code. By adopting this resolution tonight, the City Council will declare that the three measures did not receive a majority of votes and thereby failed. And the City Council will also declare that the candidates who received the most votes for the position of City Council member are Patrick Kwok, Dolly Sandoval, and Orrin Mahoney. At this time, I ask that the City Council adopt resolution number 05206, receiving the declaration of votes for the election of November 8th, 2005.
So moved.
Second.
Move by light, please.
Oops.
Do it again.
Computer glitch.
Bad start.
Should we do that by by hands, or would you like to all in favor?
Does that mean that the votes don't count? Or?
You want to do it again one more time?
All right, Sandy, you're stuck in here another 4 years.
Want to try that one more time?
That looks good.
There we go. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda, I'm going to ask our city manager, Dave Lapp, to make some initial remarks.
And I'd like to invite our current mayor, Patrick Kwok, to the front, please. It's my great pleasure to present you with this symbol of your office, and thank you on behalf of all of the citizens for the wonderful service that you provided to the city of Cupertino.
Look good. I didn't want to spoil the picture. And it is also my honor to present you with a small gift from the council. You've been a great leader of the council, and we appreciate your leadership and us getting through some very long meetings and very sticky issues. And so I have a gift here on behalf of the council to Mayor Patrick S. Kwok in recognition of his outstanding service to the community as mayor, years 2005 to 2006 from the city of Cupertino. It's a beautiful cross pen engraved with Mayor Kwok.
Thank you.
Here's a gift from the council. Back to business.
I think at this time we have a video.
Mr. Mayor, I believe we have a presentation from you to Sandra James.
Yes.
So you go on up there and call up Sandy.
Do you want me to
Yeah, the call.
You have to wait till you're
till we
called.
call.
You're not in control.
You can't leave.
Strange, all right.
Councilwoman Sandra James, could you please come
Oh,
up?
all right.
We did not have a dress rehearsal, so for goodness.
I think it's my pleasure to present a gift on behalf of the citizens of Cupertino and also City Council. And Sandy has been serving in public service for 16 years. And 8 years on the school board and 8 years on the Cupertino City Council. Those 8 years with the City Council has been really great for the citizens over here. And we all appreciate the tremendous amount of passions and accomplishments that you have made. And you are one of the best council members that serve in the Cupertino. And I really applaud your efforts in making it happen. We have a lot of challenges. I think you have exemplified everything and make our city a great place to live. So on behalf of that, I'd like to present you with a token. Wow, it's heavy. Heavy token.
Thank you, Patrick. That's beautiful. I guess it's for all the extra time I'm going to have now that I don't have to spend at City Hall. Thank you very much.
Don't go away.
Sandy, don't go too far. You could put that down. I know it's heavy. So, do we have this image up? Let's see how good they are with Bill Gates software. Oh, it worked. Okay. I have also a gift, which I'll have you hold. And I want to give you a little interpretive information about it. Sandy and I have now served on this council for 6 years. And in that time, we've seen some amazing accomplishments. And I thought it would be good to have a little reminder of some of those accomplishments, both for tonight and something that Sandy can, can take home with her. First, I'd like to read the inscription here. It's to Sandy James, Cupertino Mayor and Council Member from 1997, long time ago, to 2005, a legacy of leadership. And so let me take you through some of these images. I'm going to go from upper left-hand corner to upper right-hand corner and then down the page. First picture is Sandy's first council meeting, so a long time ago, 1997. Wow. Next one is the groundbreaking at Vista Village, a project that would not have happened without Sandy's help, that provides affordable housing and an office for our spectacular social service agency, CCS. And I see Mary Ellen Chella here. She's the other founder of Vista Village. The next one, that's Sandy at work. That's the way you see Sandy active with the flag and a microphone. Next one, the groundbreaking of the Senior Center. If those of you can remember, our Senior Center was old and decrepit, and through Sandy's leadership, we have really the best Senior Center that anyone could hope for. The next one is Sandy speaking at the Cupertino Teen Congress. That's where we kicked off the Teen Commission and later the Teen Center. And we paid attention to youth, which was always a favorite of Sandy's. In fact, for quite a while, Sandy was the lone voice speaking for youth in Cupertino. The next one is Panera Bread. And Panera Bread, I'm sure we all like the bread, but really it signifies Sandy's interest in bringing walkability and a place to sit outside and seeing you all outside in Cupertino, a place where we can enjoy each other and as part of our community. The next one is Sandy's swearing in, her first swearing in. The next one, if you remember, September 11th, 2001, happened while Sandy was our mayor, and that was the Cupertino Cares event, where she brought our city together in a memoriam for those in New York. The next one is the inauguration of the Sheriff's Department helicopter life flight event. The next one is where Sandy became the president of the Cupertino Union School District, a award-winning school district, always with the top schools in the state. I see there's some school board members here tonight. Sandy was the president there not too long ago. The picture is quite attractive.
Yeah, right.
We have a black and white there, but the hair is really amazing. Okay, so the next one is the Cali Mill Plaza grand opening. After that, the Senior Center grand opening. These are all accomplishments under Sandy's leadership. Truly a legacy of leadership. The next one is the San Tomas Saratoga Trail grand opening. There's Sandy receiving her Crest Award. That's before she was on council, where she received the Cupertino Recognizes Extra Steps Taken Award. That's for our outstanding volunteers. The next one is the library mural project announcement. That's when we were building the library and everybody thought it was a very ugly construction site, and she rounded up some local school kids to decorate the project. The next one is Cypress and Cali Mill Plaza, certainly a favorite of Sandy's and wouldn't have happened here, and I think all of us in here agree it's a great addition to our city. The next one is the new sports center grand opening. And those of you who were there then, we had budgeted $6.5 million to upgrade the sports center. We did a better job under Sandy's leadership with $2.5 million, and it is truly a great sports center. We haven't lost anything there. In fact, we gained the next one, the teen center, and that's the grand opening of the teen center. After that is the Pete's Coffee grand opening, and the next one is Sandy at her first Meet the Candidate. That's when you're running for office and you're quite nervous, and you have the press out there asking you questions, and you're first in front of the public. Of course, she was school board veteran, so maybe not so first for her. The next one is the Elephant Bar, which would be nice if anybody could get in, but it's always so busy. The next one is a council portrait. We had ours taken again tonight. Sandy, this is the first time in a long time Sandy hasn't had her portrait taken on this election night. The next one is the Library Foundation fundraising announcement. This is where our community came together so that we could have the best library we could through fundraising out in our community, which always works so well, but certainly better under Sandy's leadership. The next one is BJ's Restaurant, another place you can't get in, but I'm sure it would be great if you could. The next one I'm sure will touch Sandy's heart. One of the chairs of our teen commission was Dan Trang, a great student and leader from Monte Vista High School. This is where she was giving him a proclamation for him winning the National Principals Award, which is a touching event, and Sandy recognizing that event meant a lot to all of us. The next one is a beautiful shot of Cali Mill Plaza and Le Boulanger. Now you can get in Le Boulanger if you can find some parking, and I know parking is a half a block away. But a great place, and Boulanger has been very, very successful. They're at 3 times their revenue expectations, and as Sandy is fond of saying, 80% of their patrons walk there, which is one of our goals, is to get you out of your cars a little bit. The next one after that is the Cypress Hotel and Park Place, and Panera Bread, all favorites. And then the last last row there is the Civic Center Plaza. That's out here. Certainly that fountain has caused a lot of wet kids in Cupertino. Any time of the year, they're out here. It's 45 degrees and they're out there getting soaked. But it's just a wonderful plaza and a nice center to our city. There she is waving in the Lunar New Year Unity Parade and at the new library ribbon cutting, where her name is up there as mayor. And there's a picture of our new library, and finally the dedication plaque with Sandy shown as the undisputed leader of our city, with her name on the top as our mayor. So Sandy James and her accomplishments. And then we have a short video which will probably repeat everything I said. So let's see how they did.
When you look at the Crest Awards and the concept behind it and the embodiment of energy and focus, this is the icon for the Crest Awards. I feel our community is extremely blessed with her presence. I think her energy level, her attention to detail, the commitment she's made for this community, we can say nothing but thanks. And that's what I'd like to do. Thank you. Outstanding job.
on which you are about to enter for the city of Cupertino.
I swear.
Thank you. Congratulations.
And I will well and faithfully discharge these duties upon which I am about to enter for the city of Cupertino. One of the connecting features has to do with partnerships. This worked because of all the partnerships here, because we are a city, and this isn't true in every city, where the educational institutions and the city government, the business community, and our law enforcement, all of the community work together to provide the kind of community you want.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm hoping as part of our conversation today, and most of the day is going to be those of us who are here listening to the young adults who came today to talk to us. But part of what I wanted to do was to get the Sheriff's Department and the teens to spend some time together, just casual time, one-on-one, talking about each other's jobs, feelings, concerns.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push!
And by working with other people you know and using partners and friends, you can make it happen. Something you couldn't do on your own, but you can do with help. And this mural project is a perfect example, because I thought it'd be really cool to have students' artwork along this construction site. And all I had to do was to go to Prometheus and to go to CEF and ask them to help, and to ask the city manager if the city would be willing to participate. And everybody said yes.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter for the city of Cupertino.
upon which I'm about to enter for the city of Cupertino, so help me God. I am incredibly excited, as is the rest of the council today, to open your new sports center. And it is definitely an example of a building that has been built with consensus and with cooperation and with everybody giving something. And I think that's a really important lesson today. So I promised you a state-of-the-art permanent skate park. And I noticed in the paper that Sunnyvale just opened theirs, and we know all our other neighboring cities has them. We have a mobile skate park. But it really isn't our fault, and I'll tell you why. Because we had a ½ acre of land donated to us by Compact, and Compact got bought out by HP, so not our fault, right? But what we're really hoping is that HP or Valco will still give us a ½ acre of land so that we can build a state-of-the-art, wonderful skate park for our young people to exercise and to be together in a healthy environment. A little modern art here. Yeah? How many of you painted these panels? How many of you are involved in painting these panels? Wow. Does anybody want to say something about them?
It took a long time.
Anyone else have a comment they want to make?
We got to share our ideas and work together as a team.
Good. Anyone else? Great job. And don't remember, this is your plaza. We want you to use it. It's an active space. So if you want to schedule something here, call City Hall. Please come and make use of the wonderful restaurants and stores and facilities that you see here. So Terry, can we turn on the fountains, please? There they go. This is for Miss Time Capsule. Do we have a Miss Time Capsule this year? My goodness. Put it out. This is for Miss Time Capsule, who has a Cali Mill hat on, because that's part of our history, and the Cali family is the sponsor of the Kids Zone this year.
So here it is. Thank you. Look at that. Wow.
And the one thing I learned a long time ago that I preach constantly, those of you that know me are tired of hearing this, tell the people you love them today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Let them know. You never know, you may be the only hug or the only smile that person gets today.
What a great memories.
Wow, yes.
At this time, I want to introduce some of the elected officials who are here today, starting with Santa Clara Board of Supervisors President Liz. We have two judges from the Santa Clara County Superior Court, Judge Risa Puchon and my good friend, Judge Rhonda Pozo.
Dolores Carl, so I noticed him.
Oh,
Dolores Carl.
Judge Carl. And we have the County Sheriff, Laurie Smith. We have Pearl Chan. She is with the Cupertino Union Schools District. Pearl. And we have Go Tai as representing Sally Lieber's office, and also with Franklin McKinney School District. Go. And we have Gary McCune,
President of the CUSD.
Yes. And we have Hema Mohan, the District Director with Senator Joe Simisian. And did I miss anybody? All the elected?
They're not going to say anything.
Okay, welcome. At this time, I would like to open for council comments. Who wants to start first? Richard?
Well, you know me, I'm always up for talking. I just want to say, I guess first to Sandy, I want to thank Sandy for her leadership. She was my mentor when I got into this business. I'm an old high-tech guy, I'm an engineer, and knew nothing about public office and didn't know how to campaign. And it's very difficult when you first have to go around the city and push doorbells and kiss babies and introduce yourself to a lot of people you don't know and ask for their support. And Sandy was my guiding light. And like many of you, I spent many mornings at Hobie's at Sandy's table with inadequate lighting talking about the city. Sorry, a little jab for Michael, but he's up for it. Sandy's table is always a little bit in the dark, but she brought her own light to the table. And frankly, the sheriff's department, decorated that spot, and it says the mayor is in when you're there with Sandy, and it's a comforting sight in Cupertino, and we're gonna have to work hard to restore that rudder that she brought to our city, and I'll miss her up here. Always a source of wisdom and amazing courage, because we took on some tough issues over the time. You'll remember things like when we started the Teen Commission. And it took a lot of courage to be a council member in those days, and a lot of courage to be Sandy, because she was out there in front and stood up to it and didn't wilt in the light of residents that had disagreements with us. There was always Sandy stuck to her principles, and it was a great lesson for all of us up here. So I'll miss Sandy terribly up here, but we will try to muddle by. And we'll remember many of the lessons she taught us. So, Sandy, thank you very much for your leadership and your friendship. and for sharing so much time with us. It's a lot of time and a lot of energy, but you've been great. And then turning to Patrick. Patrick is relatively new to this council business, and he has been a great mayor for our city. He has been a spectacular leader, a great spokesperson. His State of the City address last year was absolutely amazing, and if you missed it, you missed not only a good presentation about where the city is, but frankly, just a good, entertaining presentation. In the hopes that I may be mayor again sometime, I asked the city staff here to start out by copying Patrick's State of the City presentation, because his was so good, and he's been a great leader, a great unifier of our city. We have some challenges here with the amount of change that goes on in Cupertino. We're a city of change, and Patrick has really helped us stay the course through that change to good things on the other side. So I think we're very fortunate that he was soundly reelected with the highest number of votes, and we get to work with him for another few years, me just 2 more years, but you'll have him here up on the council dais for another 4 years, and the city is very lucky for your leadership. Thank you both.
Thank you. Dolly?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and we can't say that for too much longer this evening. Sandy, when they gave you that poster of all the work that you'd done in the city, they, if you notice, skipped the 8 years of work that you'd done on the school board. And somewhat not appropriately so, because you did cut your teeth, got your political activism cut on that school board, and CUSD is better for it. While you've been here for 8 years, and many decisions you made, though, in the 8 years that you served on the school board are now coming to fruition, such as the Lawson School opening up. So there's a lot of history that you bring and hard work that you bring to this city, and that the residents in Cupertino ought to be proud to have had you as their representative. Issues that you and I have worked on together include teen issues. You've been a leader on youth issues and really made that a priority in your first term, and then continued that in your second term as both mayor and as a council member. People will remember that, your leadership on public safety issues, the library, economic development, and smaller things like making sure that Cali Mill Plaza, the library, and the sports center open on time. And with the work of staff and I think your colleagues up here on the dais, you've really put in a tremendous amount of time and effort on this city, and I thank you for your contribution.
Thank you, Dolly.
You're welcome. Patrick, same thing with you. You've just grown, I think, over the last year. I've been so proud to work with you as our mayor, and continue to work with you over the course of the next 4 years.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Who's going to mention? Thank you.
Somebody will.
Kris?
All right, well, I feel so unfair, because compared with my colleagues, Richard worked with Sandy for 6 years, and Patrick and Dolly have 4 years. I only got 2 years, so unfair. However, it's still a lucky part, because if you notice that both years I get to sit next to Sandy. I try to learn from her without asking favor, because right next to her is really easy. And I can tell you that it's really inspired me that Sandy took all the notes every time, even after 8 years. She's still seriously taking all the public inputs, writing down the notes, and respond almost every single input that people come forward to the podium. That's really inspired me, Sandy. And that's the mentor. I really, want to just follow that. It's a great model you showed to me. And I also want to share that the time that we worked together, even though before I got on to council, I was on the Park and Rec and work on the skate park, and I saw you fought for that, because that's where your heart was at, and you believe what what this team really need, our youth really need for this community, and you found the teen commission. You put together, you provide the opportunity for our teens to have fulfill their life, their community, working earlier to learn the community services. And that's really great. And I think they really elevate the city of Cupertino to the higher level for the teens and for our community members too. Congratulations, Sandy. 16 years is not short, but you well done. Great accomplishment. You will always be our model.
Thank you. Thank you, Kris.
Patrick, I just don't know. Patrick, we knew each other before, but wasn't as close as after we worked on council. And I just don't know how to describe. Patrick to me is like Superman. I don't know how he can manage last year. He still maintained his full-time job. He's do everywhere as a city mayor, and he was smile on and run so well the meeting, everything. Patrick, I don't know how you do that, but you got a job well done. I really appreciate your leadership. You have definitely last year wasn't a quiet year. I mean this year, and you have led us to overcome a lot of the challenges, the finance, everything, and the community challenges and controversial things. And then plus, you brought the harmony onto the council as well as to the community, and that's really a great leadership. And like Richard said, that you're the model, especially the first-time mayor. I just I feel like speechless. Like it's really something that, you set a role and you set the path, I'm going to look for and following you. Thank you for your leadership, Pat.
Thank you very much. I think the mayor always has the last say. First, I want to introduce my family. My wife, Susan, for the past 40 years. And my daughter, Patty Nakamura and Robert. And my granddaughter, Melanie and Stephen. Hi. My daughter, Karen, and son-in-law, Derek. And Andrew and Stevens. Daughter, Claudia Chan and Eric Chan. And the youngest of my granddaughter, Laura. She's out there. And my daughter, Stacy and Mo. Candace and Brandon Smith, I think Candace will join us. She has a final at the Ansa College, so she'll join us later. And my son, Kent, and Christina, and their daughters, Hannah and Emily, I know they will not be able to make it. But these are the people that have to endure all these hours that I am away from my family. I really appreciate it, the family support. And one person I really want to recognize is Monsignor Joseph Malani. He's a good friend, been in Cupertino St. Joseph Church for many, many, many years. He's just a father for us. So thank you very much for coming, Monsignor. And we want to recognize former mayor of Sandoval, Dean Chiu, and council member now over there. First of all, let me just give my opening remarks to Sandy. Sandy has always been my a mentor. When we ran the race together 4 years ago, and she always gave me some tips how to win elections. And she has been really great serving on city council with her. And her wisdom and her analysis, in making decisions are very sound and very, very strong, justified. And when she casts her vote, it was for the community as a whole, which I really appreciated. And also her passion, for the things that she believes in, the Teen Commission. I think it's a great passion, and it's a 4-year now in existence, and it's been going very, very strong. I think it's been expanded, and right now we have 462 people are registered as on the teen centers, and the mobile skate park is one of the things that she has a strong passion for, and it is still going very, very strong. And Sandy, I don't know what to do without you, because in the past year, you have been a pillar in our city council, in as much as we have a lot of challenges that we have to face. But we overcome the challenges and with flying colors. And I think some of the projects that you really started, like the library, you started it and you got it finished. And I could remember the power moment in September at this community hall when we have our brand new opening and the dinner. And you took on yourself and really did a really good job in organizing the dinner. And the other thing is the Calumet Plaza is one that you have a lot of passions, and the renovations of the sports center. And also the renovations of Valco, okay? And we've been, several investors been trying to renovate but failed. But Sandy recognized that we have local investors who wanted to put some efforts in making Valco one of the best centers in the Santa Clara County. And Sandy spent a lot of time even working with, say, like JCPenney's and Macy's, the corporate people, try to get the development agreement signed, which is something that is way beyond, what the council members' duties are, which I appreciate that, and it boils down to your passion, for the thing that you believe in and you love for our communities and also for the people. We'll miss you, Sandy, but I think you will be with us, and when we have tough issues that we have to face with, we will always remember the difficult time we spent together working on one common goal. And this one, and all over and over again, I said, is the best council I ever worked with, And with the presence of councils, we have the general plan update, which is done, completed on time, and there's no budget on the general plan update, but it took a lot of years and times, the task force that pulled together, and Sandy said 3 months ago, is that we got to have it approved and done, and we got it done with the help of the council and also with Sandy. And she also chaired the ABC, and she did a good job. And it's a tough challenge in terms of initiatives, but her role is to educate the public and make sure they clarify some of the information, make sure that they have the right data to make the decisions. I think that it took a great leader to chair the ABC. So with that, I really want to show my personal appreciation and the entire councils. And I think Richard said we have a really good council this year, but we are all united. We have some differences in opinions, but I think in all, we got it done. We all support each other. And that's something good about the democratic processes. We listen to the input of the residents, and then from them, we make some decisions. As far as I'm concerned, serving as mayor, it's really a privilege and honor to serve as mayor of Cupertino. I got to know many wonderful people in our communities that I work with, especially the people who come to me and say, hey, we have some problems, we need to resolve it together. I think it's a collaborative effort with our residents and also with our councils to get the work done. And I really appreciate all the support of our residents and staff. We have an excellent staff this year, thanks to the leadership of Dave Knapp and all the directors that are sitting out here and guide us, get us the data, get us to make decisions, which is not easy, but I think with all the information, which is really good. I want to thank our city attorney, Chuck Killen. He's the walking encyclopedia in terms of legal issues, always have the right answers for us. That I really appreciate it. And for the residents out in here, I appreciate that, your encouragements. And I think sometimes when we have to make the tough decisions, and we are kind of a bit down on certain issues, but you gave us the support and the data and the encouragement and the input to let us make the right decision for Cupertino, and I really appreciate it. And thank you very much, and it's been a good year, and I'll treasure it. As our governor said, you know, I'll be back. So I'll be back in several years as mayor, hopefully. Thank you very much. Sandy, the floor is yours.
Patrick, you know, when we voted you in as mayor, and you asked me to work with you, I had no idea how enjoyable that was going to be. It's really been amazing to watch you develop over this last year, I think. You've honed your skills very dramatically, your ability to lead a meeting and to lead a group, to take leadership on council issues, I think has just been profoundly advanced over the last year. I like the fact that you listen so well and that you ask for help. You know, I don't think all leaders feel comfortable doing that or have enough personal security or integrity to ask other people for their help or for their input. And I've always thought that that's a very strong character trait of yours, that you're willing to do that you're willing to collaborate and listen and ask if you want a different opinion or just an alternative idea to mull over in your head. One of the things I've found working with Patrick that always works for me is that whenever I find I'm challenged or I see that you are on some issues, I always go to the spiritual with you, Patrick, because you have such a strong basis in your spiritual belief that whenever you're struggling, it seems like all I have to say to you is, you know, take a moment and just reach deep down inside and you know the right thing to do, and you always do. And you also always come up with some good insights, I think, in that area. So I value the work we've done together. More importantly, I value our friendship and respect, and I wish you well your next 4 years on the council.
Sandy,
or are we going to have public input first? Why don't we do that first, and then I'll save my comments for after that.
We'll start with the public inputs, and maybe we'll start with Supervisor Liz.
I have one for each of you, but why don't I start with Sandy? And let me look and see what your protocol is for doing this.
We don't have one.
Just go ahead and read the text, and if someone needs to be called forward.
Oh, Sandy can read the text. Let me just, I mean, it's all in writing. Nothing's worse than reading these things out loud to someone. So let me just reflect some of the same things that others have done, but how meaningful they've been. Both Sandy and I have served on school boards together. It's a great background for doing just what you're doing now. Both of us have come out of a more business type of world and have, I think, used that to great advantage in this kind of job. Now, I think I have some disadvantages. I don't have a seat at Michael's. So when I walk into Hobie's, nobody says she's here, which is always a little disconcerting. I've been hoping, you know, I've done this for 20 years now. How long do I have to do it before I get a seat at Hobie's? Okay, well, he said we'll discuss it. And I also, whenever I come to Cupertino, I'm really sort of envious. You guys do a great job, and you do it, as they say, you do it good. And I look at this tonight and I think the accomplishments you've had are stunning. And you really are a city I've watched for many years. I worked here, you know, on your school board a long time ago. And you're developing a sense of place. You've developed a downtown to have your senior center, the teen center, I mean, it's just stunning to watch that video tonight. And that would be the last thing I would say. Where do we get this video person that does all these
He's not available. Please wrap it up.
I was thinking of wrapping you up and taking you with me because it's really done so beautifully. And it's just wonderful to have that reflection because the past is always prologue. And you all have done an absolutely stunning job. And I always admire, too, this adorable grandchild who's sitting out here. All those wonderful sounds that, sometimes drive mothers crazy are really, they are definitely music to Grandma's ears, so it's nice to hear that. So, Sandy, why don't I just come up and give this to you, and you can do anything you want with it, including hang it on your wall. And if I may do them both at once, would that be acceptable? Because I'd like to give Patrick his as the outgoing mayor and also in coming to his second term. Patrick and I have gotten to know each other very well, and I would echo some of what Sandy has said. You have grown and developed into this job. When you're the mayor, you cannot take this lightly. This is a very responsible job. You're leading all these people who are here tonight. And where your city goes is very much dependent on just the 5 of you. And the mayor really does set that pathway and really does bring everybody along. And oftentimes, as the mayor, the rest of your group doesn't want to come with you. So it's inherent on you to really persuade that group to come along. That isn't always easy. I watched Sandy do that. I've watched you do that this year, Patrick. In addition, Patrick and I also serve on the Air Board together. And that's a challenge too, isn't it, Patrick?
Yes.
Yes, right. And I often think if we have one more public hearing, I will, just kind of depart out the back door. But Patrick hangs in there, makes great comments, and so he's out there contributing in other ways to how well your council functions out there in the larger community. So Patrick, it's been great fun to serve with you in an official way on the Air Board, but also for us to have the interaction that we do on a consistent basis between the county and the city. And again, I always envy your city. I always love to come here, and now you've got an even better facility set up. This is fantastic. So you're lucky, but you are, you've earned your luck. You've earned your good fortune, and you all have played such a significant part. It's a pleasure to be here. So Patrick, may I come and present you with this?
Thank you, Board President Liz. Next one is Bow Tie, representing the senior field representative, and also Hammer Mohan with Joe Samison's office. Bo.
Hi, my name is Boo Tai, and I am the field representative for Assemblywoman Sally Lieber, and this is Hema Mohan and the district director for State Senator Joe Simidian. On behalf of Assemblywoman Sally Lieber and State Senator Joe Simidian, we would like to present this State Assembly resolution to the Honorable Sandra James. It's a small token of our appreciation for all the work that you've done in the city, especially your leadership and community service for the past 8 years on the council. We thank you so much for your efforts in making sure, preserving the high quality of life for the residents here. We wish you the best and whatever you decide to do in the next 16 years. So thank you so much.
At this time, I would like to open up for public comments. There is no time, you don't have to fill out a card, but be respectful of the time, and maybe 2 minutes. So you can line up and come up and say, please.
I'm Chiwa Wei from Organization of Special Needs Families in Cupertino. I have been living in Cupertino for 22 years, and I would say it has been a true pleasure to enjoy Sandy's leadership in the past 2 years. Today, I'm not only bringing your favorite boy next to your granddaughter, Jonathan, and I also brought another special needs families here and see how adorable they are. And I think I'm the true living testimony of your passion and your dedication toward all the citizens in Cupertino. So today, not only have I brought them, I have also brought a verse from a Bible. This is not for you to swear in. This is to I'm going to read this, and I have changed it a little bit. You have fought the good fight, and you have finished the race, and you have kept the faith, the principle, and you have kept your promise to the citizens of Cupertino. And from now on, there are tons of community services waiting for you. And I really wanted to say here, you are the true treasure of Cupertino. Thank you.
Hi, Sandy. I'm Tom Jory. I'm here just representing one of the parents, or two of the parents, who get to benefit from OSF's wonderful programs, and we want to thank you for your support.
Hi, I'm Michael Gottwald, and I've written something for outgoing City Council person Sandy James. Tonight we honor and salute an outstanding community leader in Sandy James, who will be leaving the Cupertino City Council after 8 years. Thank you for your years of service to the residents of Cupertino on the Cupertino Union School District Board and the Cupertino City Council. The youth and I would like to thank you for everything you have done for us over the years, and salute you for caring about us and honoring our successes and accomplishments on the sports field and in the community. We will all miss a friend to us all. Sandy, you are a hero and an inspiration to us all, and your legacy will live on in all of us to do our part for our community to make it a better place to live. We wish you the best. Cupertino truly has an outstanding leader in Sandy James. Cupertino is truly blessed to have Sandy James in our community. Thanks for your dedication and energy to us all. We are proud of what you have accomplished on the City Council. Goodbye, friend, and we thank outgoing Mayor Patrick Kwok and outgoing Vice Mayor Richard Lowenthal for their service this last year on the Cupertino City Council, and wish them the best in their future.
Hello, my name is Rich Robinson. I'm just a resident of Cupertino. But I would like to thank Sandy. Sandy and I met each other a few years ago, and well, we disagreed. And she sat me down, and I explained to her exactly why I felt the way I did and how strongly I felt. And she came to understand how I felt and changed her position, which I think is a hallmark of a great public official. It's not just be able to change your position, but change your position on the merits, to understand the community. And I've worked with Sandy now for a number of years, and she's my friend, she's a council member. We don't always agree on issues or people who to support, but we have a tremendous dialogue between the two of us. And Mike Bruner, who couldn't be here tonight, wanted me to express his feelings of gratitude towards your friendship and things like that. And I just want to say, you've always been a person who's taken a stand on issues that are important to the community. And this last election, you saved your community. You did it, and I didn't believe it could occur. And you said, trust the voters. Just give them the information. They've never disappointed me. And I learned a lot just from that statement. And I want to thank you on behalf of the citizens of Cupertino for saving our city and really defeating those initiatives A, B, and C. Thank you.
Well, actually, that was a really fabulous thing that you just said about my mom. And obviously, my daughter can't wait any longer. But I just wanted to say that as your daughter, I guess I'm not exactly an unbiased observer. But you started this when I was in high school. And you started it just as a journey that really taught me how to be a good mother. You know, you were professional and successful, and that's what happened to me. And along came my daughter, and along came your son. And I will say that you set a tremendous example for me personally, and I'm so grateful that Ava has that in her life. But most importantly, I've stood by and I've watched what you've given to this community, and I've watched that it hasn't always been easy, and it always isn't gratifying, and sometimes it's really, really tough and it hurts. And I've seen you always maintain your integrity and your beliefs and always try and give the best of yourself to others and set a good example, and I'm very, very proud of you.
Good evening. My name is Kendall Pearson. I'm Battalion 7 for the County Fire Department. Sandy holds a special place in our hearts for all of us, all the over 300 people from the County Fire Department. We've enjoyed a wonderful relationship and still do and will in the future enjoy a great relationship with the city of Cupertino. We maintain our 3 newest fire stations and the most equipment and personnel of any city that we provide services in here, and we've greatly appreciated the support that you've given us. On a personal note, one of the programs that the fire department and the county sheriff's department also provides is every 15 minutes, which is an anti-drinking and driving program for the high school age kids. And Ms. James here has really supported us greatly over the years. And thank you very much. We're going to miss you.
Hello. Mike Folks, President Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to invite my fellow board members and staff to come up. As they come up, I wanted to thank Patrick again for his year as mayor. This was a key year for Cupertino. 3 huge issues that we've had to deal with: the initiatives that Rich mentioned, the general plan, and all the development issues we have before us, Valco, et cetera. A tough year to be mayor. You did a fantastic job, and we're so happy you're going to be back for 4 more years so we can really spend an entire evening talking about all the accomplishments you've done. But thank you very much, and we look forward to continue to work with you.
Thank you.
And I want to say thank goodness for the fire department, because I've learned never to get speaking after either one of your children at these things, because they're such good speakers. But on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, we really want to thank you for all that you've done for the business community. I hearken back to when I first came to Cupertino 5.5 years ago, and the first meeting I had was with you and the executive of the Chamber. It changed me in terms of how I put my energies in the city, and I think it's really obviously changed the relationship that we've at Apple have had with the Chamber, but also really with the city. And I think that ambassadorial spirit is something we've seen time and time again, where you continue to go beyond your normal council role and go out and say, what does Cupertino need? How can we bring it here? How can we partner with the business community for our citizens, for the beautification of our city, and to make sure that we have the goods and services here that we need? That is incredible. It's something that I haven't seen duplicated in any of the cities that I spend time in, and something I know that a lot of your fellow council members, both in this city and other cities, have learned from and are trying to emulate. We have some parting gifts for you. Before we do those, I wanted to see if other members wanted to say a few quick words.
I'd like to say a couple quick words. First, I'd like to talk about what I've learned from Patrick, and I see you as a strong, silent type. What you say, we have to listen to. Thank you very much for your leadership. We've appreciated it. The other thing I'd like to say, this is truly a monumental event because me and Mike are here together, and we can prove that we're two separate people. Second of all, we're both up here at the same time. What I'd like to do now is show you what Sandy has taught me, and I'm going to talk for 20 minutes nonstop without taking a breath. No. Anyways, thank you very much for your leadership. We've appreciated it.
All right, since we know we have a lot more people coming here, we have a certificate of appreciation awarded to Sandra James in recognition of your outstanding accomplishments, et cetera, et cetera. You've got plenty of these. I know you're going to have a bigger house for all the wall space you're going to need with these, and some flowers. Thank you very much again for all you've done for the city.
All done. I'm Lori Smith. I'm the sheriff in Santa Clara County, and we provide law enforcement services to the city of Cupertino, and it's been just a tremendous honor to be able to work with Mayor James. Pardon me. She will always be the mayor at Hobie's, and I think with all of us. We heard from Fire earlier, and I appreciate them talking about the sheriff's office also, and I know how much you appreciate public safety, both the sheriff's office and county fire, but I secretly know that you like us best. But, again, thank you very much. It's been a true pleasure. I'm honored. I feel honored to have worked with you and to call you my friend. So thank you for everything that you've done for us. And Mayor Kwok, it's been a pleasure working with you for this last year, and I don't think you've grown. I think you were always there. You have just been that strong, and I know because of what you believe with public safety and the support that both the county fire and the sheriff's office have received from you. Again, it's been a pleasure, and we get to continue working with you. Thank you.
Honorary Councilmember Sandy, my fellow Rotarian, and also my fellow Cupertino Educational Endowment Foundation board member,
That's right.
and my friend.
Good.
And having devoted 16 years, which is a big chunk of our life in any measurement, and for the well-being of the city of Cupertino, and I really appreciate your leadership, your contributions, and in my opinion, Cupertino is the model city in the whole region, and I really appreciate all you have done. And having to get to know with you for almost 20 years now, back to the days when Tommy Sui and you were running for the school board trustee. And I really appreciate your warmth, your friendship, your integrity, and your passion. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for all you have done. And please call on me and many others so that if there are any common interest subject facing Cupertino, that we can work together again.
Thank you, Steve. Thank
Many
you.
thanks and hugs.
I will call you. You want a hug? How come?
Absolutely.
Hugs are available.
As for Mayor Kwok, my leader, my mentor, and my teacher, and I say everything has been said by the council members and also by the speakers about you. I echo, I agree. And one thing I do want to add to it is that now you, after tonight, you're going to become a council member rather than the mayor, so you have more time to spare. So I'm looking forward to work with you on many community-related activities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do I get a hug?
No, I'll shake your hand.
Good evening. My name is Mary Ellen Chell, and I'm representing just those friends of Sandy, who she has many of in the community. And when Sandy and I first met, she was on the school board and was thinking about running for council, and her theme was integrity and experience. And that is what Sandy brings to the party. She also brings her enthusiasm and her grace. One of the things that I especially love about Sandy is that she includes the people who are often forgotten. And I think it takes a special heart to keep track of those that we might lose. And I especially appreciate the way that Sandy brings the various components of our city together, various people. She's great at her networking and bringing people together, and she does it with integrity, with grace, and with a lot of heart. So Sandy, I just want to say thanks. I know you've had a lot of challenges through this, and I'm hoping that we have time to actually get together these days. So I'm looking forward to your retirement.
Hello, my name is Mavis Smith. I first saw Sandy James in, I think it was 1994. She was chairing something that I do remember very clearly. Measure A, the school bond. I went to a meeting to find out what I could do to help. I came into the office and there was the chairperson. It was Sandy. And I thought, wow, I gotta pay attention to this lady. She's somebody special. Well, after all these years and all this time, she is indeed somebody special. And I still feel that way. And I'm looking at a lot of very special people right now. It's called the City Council and the city staff. And it goes on even when a star performer leaves. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you very much for creating the Senior Citizens Commission, on which I serve. I'm very glad to do that. Thank you, Sandy. And that's really all there is to say. To all of you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Members of the council, Sandy, good to see you this evening. Congratulations, first of all, to all of you who are reelected. Congratulations on running a good campaign. Sandy, on behalf of people who appear on the other side of the dais as the dreaded real estate developers, we do appreciate you represent the best in public service, and if all politicians were like you, it would make everybody's job a lot easier. So we can't thank you enough, and as a way of kind of acknowledging all your service, is there a slide here that they're able to pull up? We're going to dedicate across the street the park that we built that you were instrumental in designing and getting approved. We're going to dedicate that park to you, and it's going to have a plaque on it saying the Sandra James Park and the service you provided as mayor and your leadership. So anybody who goes to the park will see your name and remember you, and I think it's going to be something that is a fitting tribute because it'll last forever, and everything you've done for the community will last for a long, long time. So thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Mike Rohde with Valco Fashion Park. I got my first lesson from Sandy about 8 years ago when she tells this story all the time, so I got to tell it at least once. When she gave me some good advice about the Girl Scouts and how our corporate mall company wanted to impose a fee on them for selling cookies, but I thought that was a little bit too much, and Sandy did too, so I learned from a good mentor. But, you know, Sandy's got that uncanny ability to ask you for things that you just feel good about helping her. I know that she's asked a lot of people for a lot of things with regard to the city. And I think that we all should be lucky to have had Sandy on the city council as mayor and part of this community. So the city is and will be a better place as a result of Sandy being here. Thank you.
I think so.
It's your turn.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Oh.
Hi, everyone. My name is Patty Nakamura. This is Karen Kwok, and this is my daughter, Melanie. And we are the children of Patrick. Hi, Dad.
Hi. Come on.
Oh, Sandy, don't go away yet. I have a few words for you. As a Cupertino resident, I wanted to thank you for your wonderful job as a council member. I think we need stronger women like you who give an excellent representation of women. We thank you for your honesty, your flexibility, your openness. You've been a wonderful mentor for my dad, and we greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Everyone here knows Patrick as the current mayor of Cupertino, but some of us also know the personal side of him. He's a husband, a father, and a grandfather. We all know that once he sets his mind and heart to do something, he'll not only do it, but he'll excel at it. So on behalf of the family, Dad, we're all really proud of you. And the citizens of Cupertino are extremely fortunate to have you working on their behalf.
Dad, on behalf of my brother and our sisters, we want to congratulate you on your re-election. We're all really proud of you. You're an inspiration to all of us, and we feel very lucky. We're lucky that we still get to hold the bragging rights that our father is still the member of a city council. I know it's been quite a journey since you started on the council, and through these past several years, you've really grown. You've grown to become a better parent, a better father, a better listener, a better communicator, a leader, and a visionary. You have overcome significant personal and professional challenges by bringing out the best in people, bringing them together around a shared sense of purpose. Your capabilities to lead and help people voluntarily make day-to-day decisions with commitment and enthusiasm are evident in your actions and words. Because you treat people, not just your family, with respect and warmth, you know how to really empower people to share your vision. You have a great sense of personal integrity that radiates synergy, vitality, and will. Your will to take the initiative and stand for something because you know who you are and not in the fear of what you should do or should be is inspiring. Because you know who you are, your signature talents, your values, your assumptions, beliefs, guiding principles, visions, passions. You've been able to bring your true self to your profession and personal lives that make a difference for all of us. Your greater self-awareness has put you more in step with your calling to serve the city of Cupertino. Your focus on opportunities and not on problems, and to lead when called to do so, has made you a valuable team player and a consistent role model. As my dad, as our father, and Cupertino City Council member and mayor, you've created a deeper sense of meaning and purpose for all of us. So please keep up the good work and continue to lead with your will, heart, and mind. Thanks, Dad. We love you.
Hi, Donna.
Hi, Donna Axelson. A lot of the adjectives I'm going to use to describe Sandy, people have already used, so it's nice to know we all know her as the same person. I first met Sandy in 1989 when she was running for Cupertino School Board, and at that time I was impressed by her energy, her enthusiasm, and her knowledge of school-related issues. During the 8 years that she served on the school board, I learned to respect and appreciate Sandy for her insights, for her leadership, for her decision-making ability. Lots of wonderful accomplishments happened during those 8 years, but one of them was mentioned earlier, and that was she chaired Measure A, which raised $71 million for school facilities improvement. So needless to say, when she left the school board, I was thrilled when she was elected, and then 4 years later re-elected to this forum, because I knew she would bring her unique talents and abilities to the larger Cupertino community. And I don't know what she's going to do next, but I do know that whatever she does, she will do it with purpose and passion. And anyone who has the opportunity to work with Sandy is a better person because of it.
Thank you. Are there any more public comments?
My name is Hassam Moqtadir. I live in city of Los Altos. I also live in city of Cupertino. In fact, I spend more of my time in this town. I eat breakfast and lunch and dinner pretty much in many of the restaurants that Sandy James had a lot to do with it. As the lady said a few minutes ago, there are all kinds of adjectives that many people have used and described in terms of Sandy's character and descriptions. All I have to say to thank her for wonderful friendship that I have developed throughout the years, and I hope we will have more time to spend to visit and talk and possibly have a cup of coffee somewhere. Maybe at the new place, anywhere that works for everybody.
Are there any more public comments? Going once, going twice? We close the public comments.
Sandy's turn.
I know. Before I turn it over to Sandy, let me recognize Philip Lee. He's from the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office. And Deputy Director. Sandy, it's your turn. You want the mic? You want the mic? Yeah, go ahead.
Is this, oh, good, it is live. I'm going to have a little help here. This is my beautiful little granddaughter, Ava. She just turned 2. Say hello, Ava. Hi. So I might as well introduce my family first, right? This is the youngest member of my family. This is my old granddaughter, my only grandchild. And this is a unique and special, wonderful gift from God and from my daughter, Amber. Amber, stand up. My beautiful, talented daughter, Amber. She's getting an applause from her daughter. My son is with us tonight, Justin, who graduated this year from the University of San Francisco and started his own career. And he came from work to spend the evening with us. I am very proud of him. Justin, could you stand up, please? And the man in my life, who most of you know and obviously spend time at his restaurant since it's been mentioned a few times tonight, Michael Lashin, who's been with me for 11 of these 16 years and is the person that I go to when I'm down and share all the joy when I'm up, and has just always been there for me. Michael, please stand up. I am very honored to have a surrogate family too, and retired Lieutenant Colonel Steve Taylor is a big part of my life. Please stand up and say hello, Steve. My surrogate sister, I adopted her a long time ago, and we have a lot of fun and we get in a lot of trouble, but we've accomplished some good things, Mary Ellen Chell. And my spiritual mama, she's shorter than I am, which is why I let her hang around with me, Mavis Smith. And someone I'm very, very, very proud of. I'm one of the people, I'm proud to say, that talked her into running for sheriff at my table at Hobie's, by the way, and has become a very good friend, Sheriff Lori Smith. You've all met Michael Gottwald, who's kind of like a surrogate son, and his daddy. They come to a lot of our council meetings, and Michael keeps me honest. Stand up, Michael, please, and your dad. And all my friends that are here tonight, but I want to mention a couple that have just always been there for me. Rich Abdallah, who's just kind of stood up when times are tough and said his piece, even when it wasn't a popular thing to do. Rich? And I know Mark Burns is hiding over in the corner, and Mark's done just the same, and I want to acknowledge him also. All of the Sheriff's Department, as you've heard, they're my family, as are the firefighters, and I'm not doing this special thing, you know. It's kind of like, I love you all, and they've been there for me, both of them, and we are so lucky to have them in this community. You have no idea. You know, I've traveled up and down the state, and I've seen a lot of public safety departments, and our Sheriff's Department and our Fire Department are at the very, very top of the mountain, and I am so proud to have worked with them and to have had them all adopt me. And I'm going to bring my granddaughter for a ride on the fire truck, and to and to sit in the sheriff's car too. So you guys and you gals are wonderful, and the community thanks you, and so do I. Bye bye. And the other is, she cut off the same tree or not? Right? It's been a pleasure to work with this council. It has been a pleasure to work with all the councils. It is interesting to me, and I am a student of psychology, but how it changes with just one new person. So Orrin, I'm going to be watching. It'll be fascinating to see how the mix changes, but just adding one new person, all the dynamics change, all the interactions change, and so it's going to be kind of fun to watch everyone. I'm touched by all of your words and all of the very kind and generous comments that you made, and I will carry them close to my heart. Thank you, all of you, and hopefully I'll continue to work with you. The staff, if you don't know this, the staff of this city is absolutely dynamite. Liz is right. You know, the kinds of things that we've accomplished here are just amazing, I think. And we are not the professional municipal government. You know, the city council's elected. We're just like all of you. And you know, if you want to really get involved and you really want to change things, run for office and get up here and do this. But the people that really run the city are the senior staff. And our senior staff is just absolutely incredibly talented, very honest, very easy for me to work with. And I think the saddest thing for me in leaving is that I'm going to leave the day-to-day association with them that I have as a city council person. And that's kind of sad. You know, there's something about term limits that I'm just learning, because when I first ran in 1989, the hardest decision for me was, oh my God, it's 4 years. I mean, that's like your whole college education. Do I really want to do this for 4 years? And here I am 16 years later. It's amazing. But when you leave because of term limits, it's a very abnormal feeling. You're not leaving because your job is done. You're not leaving necessarily because you want to leave, or it's time for you to leave. You're leaving because of some artificial parameter that somebody has established that says you have to go. And it's a very strange feeling. I come from business, and I know that after 8 years, if you kicked out all your seasoned employees, you wouldn't be in business very long, would you? But term limits, that's kind of what we do. And I guess that's because it's time for us to move on. So it's time for me to move on. And I will be doing different things. But I'm not leaving this community. I will tell you already, Donna has convinced me to work with her and co-chair trying to get a memorial for all of our armed services people who have lived in the city of Cupertino and given their life up, as her son has, for the things that we hold so near and dear. And so we will be very soon doing fundraising. And we have an artist coming to town, and we're going to commission a beautiful, beautiful memorial park. And I'll be working on that. I'm going to be chairing the 2nd annual special festival for special needs community the first week in June, right here in this community. And I also am going to be chairing the Kids Zone for our, whatever we call the Jubilee too. So I'm still involved in a different way, so you can't get rid of me quite that quickly. What have I learned in 16 years? I have learned that it is absolutely the most amazing privilege to represent all of you. I mean, I've lived in this city since I was 15, minus 2 years when I was gone. And I will tell you, there's been tough times, there's been some not so pleasant times, but through everything, there's one thing that is always solid, and that's, as somebody said earlier, whenever I've gone to this community, they've been there. All you do is tell them the truth, and you give them as much knowledge as you possibly have, and they make intelligent choices. I truly believe that. I've trusted in that. It's never not happened in the 16 years I've been involved. And this is a very special community. You look around you and the kinds of things that have happened, the kinds of people that have moved here, the values they have, the way they work together for common good and common goals. It's absolutely one of the best places to be in the world, and we are very, very fortunate to be here. Sometimes we get caught up in the nitty-gritty, petty, ridiculous things that we think are so important, right? And in the scheme of things, they aren't important at all, you know. We're all here, we're happy, we're healthy, our kids are going to good schools, we have beautiful grandchildren, our educational system is one of the best in the world, the city is one of the best runs, and you have good, capable, quality public servants who are willing to give their time to serve you. All they need is for you to work with them in return, and that's why we have this great place. And I thank you very much for letting me be a part of it for the last 16 years. Thank you very, very, very much.
Well, the sad occasion comes to me. I have to be the one to say goodbye. Return you to your family after 16 years of service. And we have for you just one other parting gift, and this is your nameplate with your photograph, your years as mayor, 2000 and 2001, and then again 2003 to 2004. Council member 1997 to 2005.
Once again, thank you, Sandy, for all the work you've done for these communities, and on behalf of the residents of Cupertino and also the council members. And I want to thank you again and show your our deepest appreciations. You have done so much for Cupertino. Thanks again. I think at this time, I'm going to ask the city clerks and also some of the judges and elected officials to take the oath of office, to swear in, take the oath of office for the coming council members.
Ask Liz.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we'd like to have Patrick Kwok, as being the person who received the most votes, be sworn in first, and doing the honors will be Supervisor Liz Niss.
First of all, I'm very privileged to be here tonight and to swear Patrick in. And one of the things you get to do if you're going to swear someone in is tell them how fortunate they are to have somebody of Patrick's caliber. I mentioned this when I gave him a commendation earlier, but you've just elected him to lead you for 4 more years. I want you to demand a lot of him. He's been well-trained now, and he's ready to really go for it. So whatever you want, call Patrick. Agreed? Agreed. He will be terrific, and as I've told you, I thoroughly enjoy being able to serve with him at the county level and the city level and on our air board together. So Patrick, congratulations, and I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand. And have they given you a mic? No mic for Patrick?
Get bellow it out.
Let's give Patrick a mic so you can hear him say that. Great.
Okay.
Okay, Patrick, with your right hand in the air, you are going to say, I, Patrick Kwok.
I, Patrick Kwok,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear
To support and defend the Constitution.
to support and defend the Constitution
Of the United States.
of the United States
And the Constitution of the State of California.
and the constitutions of the state of California
Against all enemies.
against all enemies,
Foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
To the Constitution of the United States.
to the constitutions of the United States
And to the Constitution of the State of California.
and to the constitutions of the state of California,
That I take this obligation freely.
and that I take this obligation freely
Without any mental reservation.
without any mental reservation
Or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion,
That I will well and faithfully.
and I will well and faithfully
Discharge the duties.
discharge the duty
Upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter
For the city of Cupertino.
for the city of Cupertino.
So help you God, right? As
So
Sandy
help
would say. This is Patrick's certificate of election. Go and serve well, Patrick.
Okay.
Congratulations.
The next council member to be sworn in is Dolly Sandoval, and Judge Risa Pichon will be doing the honors for Dolly Sandoval, and following Dolly, Orrin Mahoney.
It is truly an honor and a privilege to administer the oath to you, Dolly. I've known you for many, many years, and I remember when you were a student at De Anza, because my husband teaches there. Are you ready?
I am.
Please raise your right hand. I, Dolly Sandoval,
I, Dolly Sandoval,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter for the city of Cupertino.
Thank you.
Could have Orrin Mahoney come up to the stage, please?
And I believe Orrin believes I just met him tonight, but that's not true. Because when you were doing your rounds around the city, I remember you coming to my door. So it is truly an honor and a privilege to administer the oath to you tonight.
Thank you.
Please raise your right hand. I, Orrin Mahoney,
I, Orrin Mahoney,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support and defend
the
Constitution of the United States
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
without
any mental reservation
or
purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter for the city of Cupertino. Congratulations.
Okay, we go to the next item, which is the nominations and elections of the mayor and the vice mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to nominate Richard Lowenthal for his leadership into 2006 and to be the mayor of Cupertino.
Second.
Vote by light, please.
I don't know.
Teach me.
The voting screen doesn't come up.
That's right. Hey, what happened?
Oh, no.
Sorry.
I didn't make it.
Sorry about that.
Systems can't take it again.
We haven't been able to reprogram our computers so quickly to get Orrin's name in there, so it still
call
shows
by roll.
Sandy James. So
Call by
we're going
roll.
to ask you to, again, do the voice vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think you have to do the other one. I haven't been sworn in yet, so
Okay.
I figure it's still your job.
The second one is the nominations of the vice mayor. May I have a motion, please?
I'll nominate Kris Wang to be our next vice mayor.
Second.
Vote by light, please. Oh, no.
Vote by voice, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Better not.
Motion carries. And now it's time to give the oath of office to the new mayor and vice mayor. I'll be giving the oath to Mayor Richard Lowenthal.
I want to say, before we do this, that we have many distinguished people here. Supervisor Liz Niss, who has been a great supporter of the city, and the judge, who's not only a great judge, but a resident of our city. And I had to make a choice of who to swear me in, but I chose Kim. Kim's been our support and a great member of our city staff, and a great friend to me, and frankly keeps the council members out of a lot of trouble. So with all due respect, I chose our city clerk to swear me in tonight.
And it's an honor for me too, Richard.
Thank you.
If you'd raise your right hand, please.
This one.
Yes, and say these words after me. I, Richard Lowenthal,
I, Richard Lowenthal,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support and defend the Constitution
to support and defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter
upon which I am about to enter
for the city of Cupertino.
for the city of Cupertino.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
And now Supervisor Liz Niss will give the oath of office to Vice Mayor Kris Wang.
Thank you, Liz, and I guess I have to also say it's my honor to have you to swear me in. I couldn't arrange who would swear me in because I didn't know I would get elected to be the vice mayor. But amongst all the good friends here, I really want to recognize Liz as being a longtime friend and my mentor, and supporting our city and supporting multicultural everything. So it's my great honor to have you swear me in. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was very kind of you. Kris and I have known each other quite some time now. She serves on our Park and Rec Commission as well. I think she is going to be a superb vice mayor for you, but don't forget the same thing. Hold her feet to the fire, know her phone number at home, and be sure that you demand from your city council what you want, because they truly will respond. It's you have a wonderful city council here, and they truly respond to residents in a way I seldom see in other cities. So, Kris, it's truly my honor to do this for you tonight.
Thank you.
So, again, raise your right hand. I, Kris Wang.
I, Kris Wang.
Do solemnly swear to support.
Do solemnly swear to support.
And defend.
And defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution.
And the Constitution.
Of the State of California.
Of the State of California.
Against all enemies.
Against all enemies.
Foreign and domestic.
Foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith.
That I will bear true faith.
And allegiance.
And allegiance.
To the Constitution of the United States.
To the Constitution of the United States.
And to the Constitution.
And to the Constitution.
Of the State of California.
Of the State of California.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well.
That I will well
and faithfully
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter for the city of Cupertino.
For the city of Cupertino.
Yay.
guess I'm the boss now, huh? So I better read here what's coming up next. We have some comments from the council members. So let's see who would like to start. How
I'll
about
go
Patrick?
first.
Oh, there,
Patrick,
okay.
want to go first? I'll go
Take a
first.
volunteer.
Oh, I'm so, when the voting result came out, I was just so happy. First of all, two incumbent, my colleagues got reelected as highest two vote getters, and Orrin Mahoney, who are my long-term friends as well, and work on a lot of the community event, and also got elected. I was really happy, and I think this community really knows who are the best to serve your community. And Patrick and Dolly, I just wanted to say that I've really enjoyed working with you too in the last 2 years. You're hardworking for the community as being once again being recognized by the community that who they vote you in again. So I'm looking forward to working with you too in another, at a minimum 2 years, hopefully 4 years. And Orrin, welcome on board. I know there's a lot of things ahead of you, but I have gone through that. So, and this is a great, a group of folks that they will really help you, and count on them. And I will be here too. All right, welcome on board.
Great, thanks, Kris.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Orrin, congratulations and welcome to the city family and the city council. And I think that we're looking forward to work with you. Orrin and I have a lot of things in common. Number one, that we are both engineers. And secondly, we both serve on the planning commissions, which we are very, very proud of. And thirdly, our hairs are pretty much the same color. So
a little more.
I think Orrin is bringing in a lot of experience on land use issues and all citywide issues, and most of all, he's been very, very support of multicultural events, having chaired the Golden Jubilees and a lot of other cultural events, and most of all, we are fellow Rotarians. So once again, congratulations and welcome. And for Richard, I want to congratulate you again. When I came in 4 years ago, you were mayor at that time. I distinctly remember 4 years ago, you were mayor and you were my mentor. And I was a little bit scared because being the first elected city council, but talked to Richard, don't worry, we'll make it right for you. So I've been listening and learned a lot from Richard, and he will be a great mayor, and the city is very, very fortunate. And for Dolly, welcome back again. And I think that, as Kris said, this time in the election result, two of the incumbents were returned, number 1 and 2. That shows the confidence of the voters on our two incumbents, and also that we must have done something right for them to cast the votes and return us. So once again, Dolly, I'm looking forward to work with you, and it's going to be a great year.
Dolly?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, the new mayor.
Thank you.
I'd first like to introduce my family that's here. There's a sprinkling of them in the audience. First, my dad, Frank, who has been working hard all day, and I know he has to go back. You'll have dessert in just a few moments, Dad, I promise. My sister, Denise. My very good friend, Bill Lewis, who I met at Foothill De Anza Community College District. And my rock, the guy that I can go home to and sometimes laugh and sometimes cry. The one who shares a lot of what I do on the city council and allows me to take the time to spend so much time in the city, Ed. Risa, thank you again for swearing me in. Your friendship and Ulysses's friendship to me has just been great, and I appreciate you making the time to fit me in your busy calendar. Thank you.
Thank you, Dolly, very much. Orrin, do you have anything you'd like to say tonight?
Sure.
You might as well get used to it.
Not a lot, but so first of all, when those of you know that I've run for city council before, and I ran the first time against Richard in 1999, and I didn't realize then that the key campaign slogan was going to be "Third time's a charm."
But I really, those of you who know it was a close election. I really couldn't have won without the support of many of you out there, whether you walk precincts or help me in many other ways. I also want to particularly thank my campaign treasurer, my one-person campaign committee, and my wife, Carolyn, out there in the office. One of the things, you've heard about what's special about the city. One of the things that encouraged me to run a third time is the campaigns have been good campaigns. They've been clean campaigns. I've made a lot of friends running for office, including this election. I've had a chance to make some new friends like Raj and enhance and extend a lot of the friendships that I already had with Patrick, Dolly, and Marty and Jeannie. So we are truly fortunate as a city to have such a qualified set of people that continue to run for office and to serve you in office. I just want to thank everybody for that. Walking precincts is good. It's great. You really get a chance to learn a lot about what's on people's minds, and I just want to tell the people out there that I listened to them as I was walking around, and I will incorporate their feedback into decisions that I make up here. And I really look forward to having the leadership, having Richard's and Kris's leadership over the next 2 years to guide me forward in the process of serving you on the City Council. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Orrin, very much. Maybe, Dave, could you help me for a minute? Is my name tag up here? It says Vice Mayor. I wanted to take that. Thank you for your help. I just want it up here. Yeah. So I'm not going to be needing this anymore. We do have term limits, as Sandy talked about, and I've had my chance to be vice mayor, so I thought I'd give this to my friend Michael Gottwald. Michael, would you come and take my nameplate, please? Michael is without a doubt my #1 supporter, and he deserves that more than anybody. And then the other thing that I've got now in excess of are vice mayor cards, which will also not be of any use. So what I did is I took my final box of them and marked out my name and wrote Kris Wang to save the city some money. So these are for Kris.
Well, they still have a Richard's phone number on it. So.
That's okay. I don't answer my phone anyway. Unless you use email, you can't get to me. People can attest to that. Well, it's a great honor to be the mayor of such a fine city. This is a dream council for me to lead. I am just one of 5 votes and can't do anything without the help of my colleagues. And I am blessed to have such a great team here to help guide the city. My team at home makes this possible, and you've heard other families introduced, but my daughter Lindsay's here. My daughter Kimmy couldn't make it tonight, but it's tough for teenagers to support you in an election. When I first brought up the idea of running for council, as I said, before this I was the shy engineer and nobody knew who I was. But then your name is all over town, vote for Lowenthal and all that. It's pretty embarrassing for a teenage girl. But they've been supportive, and I asked them, and I can't say it was an enthusiastic cheering, but they are very supportive. And so my girls, and Lindsay's here tonight, and I appreciate her being here. So maybe a little round of applause for Lindsay. My daughter Kimmy, who couldn't make it. And this job takes a lot of time. I've worked it out. We get about $1.92 an hour for the job. But more than that, it's the time. We're here, most council meetings end up about midnight. We're here. We start about 6, we go home about midnight. And we work a lot. And as Sandy trained us, we meet with residents practically every day. Today I had 3 meetings with residents, and it happens every day. It's a very demanding job, and you can't do it without your family behind you. And my wife Ellen here has been just a rock of support for me. So Ellen, thank you very much. I don't want to do a long and boring speech because I'll do that at the State of the City address. I don't want to do it tonight, too. I'll save it. But I have many other family members here. The front row is for family, and these are all my family members, and I sure appreciate their support. They're kind of my extended family, people like Jim and Linda Walker, and our friends the Gomez's, and my friend Cindy. They're our friends all through the trials and tribulations of being a council member and mayor. So I want to thank their support. The other part of this, as Sandy said, is the staff, and the staff is what really makes the city work. And I did some analysis of why the state is so peculiar, and the state government is so peculiar, and the city government seems to work. And the difference is that in state government, when you're elected, you bring in your own staff. And in city government, they're here. They're here from year to year, and they keep you from screwing it up. And you need them here. And the best advice you can get is from the city manager says, I've been there, and you don't want to go there. And that's what Dave and that's what Chuck and their staffs do. They keep us out of trouble. They keep us from making mistakes. They give us the freedom to make policy decisions, and we try to do that in an enlightened way by listening to you and doing our best to make good decisions for the city. But they carry it out, and they keep us from making terrible blunders, which we could do. When we get elected, Orrin has not been elected to the city council before, and there's no training. There is I can't think of a job. I'm a proud member of Rotary. I'm the president of the Cupertino Rotary. They train you for a year in how to be a good Rotarian. Here, there's nothing. You just come in. It's like that day you came home with your baby and you had no idea what to do. Which end is up? Why are they crying? It's the same feeling when you're in here, and if it wasn't for a great staff, we couldn't do any job. And they're just wonderful, and I think we ought to give them a round of applause. There are other members of the team, public safety. They were introduced a bit. They're part of our team, and they do a spectacular job. I was glad that they were thanked earlier. And we have partners in this running of the city. We have the best schools in the state, and that's due to a school board. We don't have much to do with that. We support them when we can, but they really run the show independently, and they do a stellar job. Our business community pays the bills. So if there's a service you like here, if you like the way the streets are, or the parks are, or whatever, it's the businesses that are paying the bills. 36% of our revenue comes from local businesses through sales tax. And so thank your local businessman. And if somebody says it's the residents that matter and you should ignore the businesses, they're wrong. The businesses make this thing tick. And so go patronize a local business, give them some business, and you'll be helping the city. So thank you very much to them, too. As I said, I'm not going to do the big speech. I want you to know, I made a deal with the garbage company a couple of years ago. And it was NorCal. Same company, NorCal. But our deal was a good one, worked out by the staff. And I'm actually very proud of this particular deal. This is the deal that brought us recycling every week, and the bins instead of the toters instead of the little bins and all that. But we didn't pay a nickel for it, and I promise I won't come back and ask for money later. I wanted to talk just very briefly about the strength of the city. We have a challenge in the way we change. We change a lot. And in particular, we've had a lot of immigration, which has caused a lot of change. We've had a lot of new homes here. But it's a huge strength. If you think about Cupertino, we're at the leading edge of globalization. And if you think that the Chinese aren't a driving force in the global world, and the Indian community in India is not a force in the global world, you're missing something. And I want you to think a little bit about your kids as you bring them up in these schools, and there's the challenge of all the change. They're going to be leaders in a global economy. Because we have a global economy, and when you hear about jobs going overseas and all of that, that's the way it's going to be. We can't stop those jobs from moving, but we're going to have the most educated community in understanding the strengths of multiculturalism, and your kids are going to be the most prepared kids on the planet for the way the world's going to be. So I want you to think, when you think about the challenges of change, the strengths in change, because we've got a great community and it's a great place to raise kids that are prepared for the new world. So please see the bright side of all of these kind of things that you hear about, even nasty little articles in the Wall Street Journal. Similarly with growth, that we've been talking a lot about growth over the last 2 years, and it's been a challenge, and we've all taken high-profile positions. It was interesting because everybody's interested in the best thing for Cupertino. The people that were for those initiatives, the people who are against the initiatives, or if it's not the initiative, it's the house down the block. We're interested in the same thing. We're lucky because, as Dave Knapp, our city manager, says, we're always choosing between competing goods. Should we have trails and parks? Yes. Should the neighbors of those trails and parks be respected in their needs? Yes. Do we need affordable housing? Yes. Does new housing create some anxiety, some traffic, maybe school issues? Yes. It's our job to sort those things out. But we are so lucky that we are choosing between good things. These are all good things. You know, this weekend I'm going down to Gulfport, Mississippi. Now, Gulfport, Mississippi is a place where they're not choosing right now between good things. I can't find a hotel. There's not a hotel within 100 miles that has a room because they're gone. The people there have nothing. I'm going there on a mission for Rotary because the Rotary Club there normally does a program like we do here in Rotary where we take poor kids out shopping for Christmas. They can't do that this year. They can't have a fundraiser because they have no place to have their musical production where they raise the money. So we're going to go there and do that and help them out through this time. So when you think about our hardships, they ain't there. What we have are not hardships. We have great decisions to make among competing good things. And so we're very blessed. And frankly, I'm blessed to lead this council, and I'm very excited about it. And I'll have that long and boring speech for you in January. But for now, I think I'm standing between you and food, which is a bad place to be. So that's the end of my comments. And if somebody from the audience would like to speak, you have another opportunity.
Mr. Mayor, if I can just have a couple minutes to recognize my family. They're being big supporter. My campaign as well as 2 years serving on the council. First is my husband, Gene. My mother-in-law, Tishu, Mrs. Wang. And my sister, Amy. Many of you have heard that I lost my father-in-law about 10 days ago, so it's very special this time that, I wanted to, on behalf of the family, to say thank you. A lot of people send me the email cards. I want to say thank you for your support, your caring, especially this time of the sorrow of the family. So thank you very much. And I wanted to, once again, thank you for my family. Their support is just, I don't know what else to say. And without them, I just couldn't serve up here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kris. So this is your last chance to speak before food.
Hi, I'm Michael Gottwald. We welcome new Mayor Richard Lowenthal and new Vice Mayor Kris Wang to the Cupertino City Council and wish them the best in their new positions. And we welcome back to the Cupertino City Council Patrick Kwok and Dolly Sandoval, and welcome new Cupertino City Council person Orrin Mahoney, our outstanding community leader, and wish all of them the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good. Just before we close, come on up, Gene.
Good evening. My name is Gene Wang, Kris Wang's husband. I'd like to say a few words to Kris. Hey, Kris, we are proud of you. You've done a great job. Congratulations to you to be elected the Vice Mayor of the city of Cupertino. Since you were elected 2 years ago, Surprisingly, friends time to time came to me asking, hey, since your wife is the city's celebrity now, do you feel the pressure? Gee, what the kind of a stupid question it was. I told them, hey, these city council members were not well paid. They are devoting their time service the community. They are really sacrificing themselves. And they still work very hard with integrity and honesty. So here I'd like to say to Mayor Lowenthal and the city members, you have my full respect. And Kris, I'm really proud of you to be part of it, and keep on. Thank you.
Thank you, Gene.
I'm going to make it short. I really wanted to say congratulations to all of you. Life cannot be happier. You see all your friends sitting there. And with a leader left, and we see new leaders emerging and sitting there, and lead Cupertino to moving forward. And I think we are very lucky citizens, and to have you all there to help us to build this city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chihuahua.
Thank you.
I think any 5 people sitting up here would have been Chihuahua's friends. Chihuahua and Li Wei have tons of friends here in Cupertino. So I want to make a couple of closing comments. I was gratified by the election results. I wasn't in it, that's one reason. But another is the confidence that the voters showed in my colleagues that have been here over the last few years. Patrick and Dolly got resounding approval by the voters, which feels good to all council members. We all just sort of feel like they might be talking a little bit about us when the voters go out and vote and support their council. And with an election like this, where there was a little bit of rancor and a lot of voters, to see them line up so solidly behind 2 of my friends that I've served with here was wonderful news. And I was just so thrilled to see them get about twice as many votes as I've ever gotten in this election. We had a huge turnout, as you probably saw, ultimately about 15,000 voters, which is more than double that we see in the normal election. But they came out and lined up squarely behind the re-election of my colleagues, and I was thrilled by that, and I think you've earned it, and I'm glad to see that as Sandy has said, that you can trust the residents to vote the right way. And finally, my friend Orrin, I met Orrin running against him, and the very first time I met him, we sat down together in a cafe, Cafe Quinn, and we said, we're going to run a clean campaign. And our pledge to each other was, during this campaign, we will never mention the other one's name. And the idea was there was no reason to go negative on a friend. And we would talk about what we would do. Orrin would talk about what Orrin would do. I would talk about what I would do. And we ran a great campaign. And frankly, we are the best of friends, and I'm certain we're lifelong friends. And I worked on his campaign, and I walked door to door, which I frankly don't like doing very much. You got to do it on the weekends and the evenings. It's my family time, which I have to give up. But I would give it up for Orrin in a minute, because he is my good friend and colleague, and I'm so pleased that you're up here, Orrin. And I think we're going to do great work for the city. So thank you for your support tonight. I'm going to skip oral communication, so if you're out here to complain about something in the city, you'll have to write me an email.
Not tonight.
So with that, we're going to adjourn to food. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thanks, Richard.